Hey guys, Colin here from CH Gadgets. So TCL made a flagship smartphone and it is surprisingly good. But I also noticed that not a lot of tech publications was raving about this as they would some other brands. So here's what I think. But before we get started, if this is your first time watching my video, or even if you're a regular viewer, do me a favor and stick around until the end of this video because I got a huge favor I gotta ask. Now, I'm not saying there weren't a lot of good and favorable coverage about this phone, because there was a lot of them. What I am talking about is, why is this phone so good and the tech community wasn't raving about it as they would some other brands? So here's why I'm asking this question. The design, build, and material choices are really good. This has a rigid metal frame that is covered in Gorilla Glass 5 on the back and on the front with some really nice color choices. But it's that matte satin textured finish is what got me, because it's so smooth and really good at hiding fingerprints. But that 6.47-inch Full HD Plus curved AMOLED display is crazy good and beautiful, with a pixel density of 398, plus it can get really bright at 986 nits. While this might not sound as bright as some of the other 2021 smartphones, this is really good for this smartphone. And I love watching videos on this display because they're so bright, rich, and vivid. And even though this is a 60Hz panel, gestures are still smooth and really enjoyable while you're using this thing. And despite the fact that this is powered by the Snapdragon 675 with 128 gigabytes of storage and 6 gigs of UFS 2.1 RAM, the performance is really good. Now, you're not gonna expect flagship type performance on this, but for what it's worth, this thing still performs like a champ and delivers a really good user experience. The camera performance on this smartphone is really good for TCL's first time around the block with their own dedicated smartphone. So here's the lineup. You get a 64 megapixel f1.8 main camera with phase detection autofocus, along with a 16 megapixel ultra wide, as well as a 5 megapixel macro and a 2 megapixel depth sensor on the rear. And the photos from this setup is nothing short of awesome. The photos from the main camera are sharp, crisp most of the time, with some nice detail, with good dynamic range, and sometimes it might have a little extra saturation, but it still managed to produce overall good result. The ultra wide photos are not as good as the main camera, which is to be expected, but in good light it can produce some really good results. I'm not a selfie taking kind of guy, but in the daytime you can get some really decent shots from the selfie camera and some respectable portraits as well. Look, I'm not trying to tell you that this is the ultimate mid-range smartphone, because the truth is it has some room for improvement, because I wish that the fingerprint sensor was a little bit faster. But for right now, as an overall package, this is a solid offering. And it's also worth your consideration if you're on the market right now for a brand new smartphone. From my experience using this thing, I can say for sure that it has some good overall performance with a premium overall design and feel, an impressive OLED display, and some really good battery life. Now, I know that TCL just released a new updated version for this, and I'm just waiting to see what is that like, because I'm assuming if this is really good and they made an upgrade to it, then the next one should be even better. But if you're trying to save a few bucks, this might be a good consideration. But I'm definitely gonna check out the new one as soon as it drops and I get one in my hands. So I think TCL is on the right track. And I'm not too sure why some publications wasn't raving about this as they would some others, but I think it's really cool and I like it. Now, with LG out of the market, RIP LG, TCL has a really wide open gap that it can come in and fill with some of these really good smartphones that they're delivering. And I think they have all that it takes to do that. They just gotta play their cards right. With the right design and build and cameras, as they already have, and the right pricing, I think they can fill that gap, fill that void really easily. All right, that's what I think, that's what I thought, that's what I share. Thank you for watching. Oh yeah, do me a huge favor and click that like button. It really helps out the channel and I appreciate you. Thanks for watching and I'll talk to you in my next video. It's your boy CH and I'm out. Peace.